Good morning, Nature Co's. This is Dane Perillo, Wells Fargo Advisors. For this week's edition of From Wall Street to Main Street, today is Tuesday, April 26th, 2011. And listeners are reminded that my office is located at and that as you listen to this show, that you are reminded to carefully consider your own information and make your own decisions with your own financial advisor. But before I get into today's topic, 6 steps to an easy, secure retirement, I must give a shout out to my son Preston. I promised him I would do this, and many things. One thing I always do, this is what I always do with my children, is I always keep my promises. Tomorrow afternoon, after work, I'll be going to a ceremony with which he'll be getting honor roll accommodations for the first time ever. He listened to me, he crunched an awful lot of numbers, he worked awfully hard and got some of those last minute extra credit projects in, and sure enough got all A's and all B's. And in addition, before I get into my show today, I would love to pay tribute to a TV personality, a market strategist that I've listened to my entire career, and give a shout out to Joe Battipaglia. Joe Battipaglia had been on Fox News, CNBC, C-SPAN. He had sat on many boards. Joe Battipaglia passed away at the age of 55 years of age. Most recently, he was the chief market strategist for Stifel Nicholas, a reputable firm in the Northeast. I listened to Joe my entire career, and I always enjoyed a lot of his quotes. I'll give you a few right now just to pay some respect. Anybody picking their own stocks, it is like diagnosing your own health. One of my favorite things, and certainly being a financial advisor myself, I do not encourage people to go this alone. I think you do need to seek out a professional. Among the other things Joe Battipaglia was famous for was having been, prior to getting into being a Wall Street strategist, he was a CEO and a chairman of an oil company and a strategist for Exxon. Joe Battipaglia passed away at the age 55. You will be missed. So today's idea I wanted to talk about today is 6 steps for a secure retirement. There's going to be, of these steps, I'll go over them. There's challenges and peril, where you'll stand, getting to where you want to be, picturing your retirement, your dreams and goals, and then hopefully bringing it all together. You know, I would definitely like to keep these nagging questions. You might be sitting back listening. What are going to be the nagging questions that go along? Will I have enough money to do the things I want? How can I tell whether I'm progressing towards my goals? And if I'm not, what can I do? Am I compromising too much for my current lifestyle to stay for the future? Not enough people do this one, I'm afraid. It is my point of view that people do not save harder. I think there's the counterintuitive on that one. So that's just what I see, and I would invite people to answer the question or perhaps call into the show and talk to me about whether or not they think they're trying hard enough. Let's be honest with ourselves. And most importantly, am I taking on too much risks? Too much risk you really can't say enough about as we're planning towards retirement. I would tell you that Joe Battipaglia had another quote. It happened to be referring to a nasty pullback that hit his accounts in 2005. The idea was 2005 came and went. I am not going to be more aggressive this year to make up for last year. There's a lot of wisdom to be had there. You know, as we're moving into the great retirement, what I call the great unemployment, happens to be the great retirement. You know, most of the time, most people consider you'll have 25 to 30 years of retirement. What does your ideal retirement look like? Is there travel? Buying dream home? Pursuing hobbies? Spending time with friends and family? Most of us have some idea of what we want our retirement to look like. Perhaps a list in our minds of things we'd like to accomplish. However, how many of us have actually taken the time and sat down and given it some serious thought as to how you're going to fill the void, what you're going to be doing during that time? So step one, let us identify the challenges and the perils that many of us have seen or foreseen, but there are a lot of statistics. Fact is, Employee Benefits Research Institute funding saving needs for health expenses for persons eligible for Medicare in December 2010, and Employee Benefits Research Institute 2010 Retirement Confidence Survey suggests a retired couple with Medicare and Medigap Part D in 2010 need $271,000 in savings to have a 90% chance of covering healthcare costs during retirement. Surprising in today's environment, but then again, how surprising is it? We all sit back and we look through the fog and we begin to think, there is this thing out there. Do I have $271,000 in savings? Well, maybe I do. Or if I'm somewhat close and I'm willing to change my lifestyle to get even closer. Or if you're nowhere near it, is it just that 800-pound gorilla you put in the backyard, figuring you may or may not get it? I'd like to hear from you if you're hovering or if you have any belief or confidence in that type of a number. Because to have $271,000 in savings, you'd probably have more than you think if you count life insurance premiums, permanent life insurance premiums, leftover IRAs, various savings accounts, or any of those CDs floating about, or things that, or stock mutual funds. But to have just a 90% chance of making healthcare costs during retirement, interesting. Only 46% of workers tried to calculate what they'll need to save to maintain a comfortable lifestyle or a standard of living during retirement. Shockingly enough, you can get as many financial calculators and hypotheticals and different, follow the green lines, and you can find so many different tools out there. To me, I found it very interesting that only 46% of the workers have actually even attempted it. The Employee Benefits Research Institute goes on to give us some statistics. 54% of workers reported less than $25,000 in total savings and investments, excluding their home and defined benefit plan. As well as 32% of workers expected Social Security to be a major source of retirement income. Any of the listeners are reminded we had several weeks ago T.K. Tarano on there, and that one sort of jives with some of the things, the overlaps and the fallacies. As it turns out, Social Security, we know from K, was never intended to be anything but a supplement to your retirement plan. And here it is, 32% of workers, even in today, think it's going to be a major part of how they're going to get there. I see a pitfall to that way of thinking. Challenges and pitfalls, make no mistake about it. The National Council on Aging, current economic status of older adults in the United States, a demographic analysis, January 2010, Employee Benefits Research Institute, investment companies, 401k plan asset allocation, account balances and loan activity in 2009, profit sharing, 401k Council of America, 52nd annual survey, of profit sharing and 401k plans suggests that in 2008, approximately 31% of Americans aged 65 or older were considered economically secure. 31%. And average 401k balances rose in January 2009 to 58,351. Only 24.5% of eligible employees made catch-up provision contributions to their retirement plans in 2008. You know, I like to remind folks that the IRS favors, that they tend to favor investing by giving us more and more contribution limits. And if 24.5% of the eligible people, mostly considered 50 and older, is where those catch-up provisions come into play, if only 24.5% made them eligible, are we really trying and saving it hard enough to put it away? As you can see, there's a lot to think about. Taking together these statistics, many Americans are approaching retirement or are even in retirement without a plan and potentially with inadequate savings. These facts are you today tells you that you don't want to be one of those people. So just being there, just being here, you've taken a big step in ensuring your financial security. You know, you need to start considering where your plans are going to be. Statistics are definitely telling us you're not alone if you've done little or no planning whatsoever. But I would tell you, doing nothing is itself a plan. It's a plan to do nothing. In 2008, well, we've already sort of covered those things. That's certainly an awful lot of information. Staying along inside of step one a little bit, challenges and perils. Here are the things that I find particularly interesting. Experiencing poor investment choices is one of the other big things that could happen. We've all seen how challenging markets can affect our investments and performances. However, even in good times, you can experience poor returns depending on which investments you own. Again, engaging yourself with your financial advisor on a very regular basis to have he or she tell you exactly where you stand compared to the indices. I think it's interesting. Last year, folks, I've heard of folks that would have come forward. I believe the number was the Standard & Poor's did about 15%, and they had come to, you know, I could envision somebody coming forward and suggesting, hey, I did 6% last year. Yes, 6% is pretty good, but compared to the indice that most of us looked at, you had about a 10% underperformance in that example. 10% coupled over $100,000 in savings is a very significant number to have to contend with. So that is a very interesting point, in my opinion, that even in good times you can be experiencing underperformance. Living far longer than you imagined, well, that one goes without saying in my point of view. Science does happen to be keeping folks alive a lot longer. I remember hearing that recently Pasco County had upwards of 20 100-year-olds living all around our county, and 20 years ago that statistic gave us one. Dealing with increased inflation. Well, dealing with inflation, the overall increase in prices of products and services we purchase, that's a threat because it steals away your money's purchasing power. We've all been able to live during a period of relatively low inflation. That could have changed. Even if inflation stays low, you need to factor inflation's effects into your investment plan. Yeah, challenges and perils go on. Paying taxes. Yeah, like inflation, taxes eat away at your investments. Einstein said there's two absolutes, death and taxes. Need I say more on the subject? Perhaps. If you're in a position where you're paying an awful lot of taxes, you may want to consider some tax-efficient ways of investing. practical way you could possibly mitigate